everyone to another video, and today we are going to take a look at a team that I'm currently having success with in the Love Cup, which features Crustle as the lead with Sylveon as the safe swap and Aromatisse as our closer. So with the quick attack buff from last season, I believe, Sylveon is a fairly decent safe swap in this meta because it charges up to the charge moves relatively quick, with quick attack getting 8 energies per turn, and Side Shock is there for the coverage against the poison types like Aromatisse that you can see that is very prevalent in the Love Cup. So Sylveon is a fairly, I would say it's like the third or fourth most common charmer in the Great League, so an investment in it is quite safe, with Aromatisse being a fairly I would say subpar charmer, I guess, because its usage is relatively the same as a Wigglytuff in terms of the charge move energy needed, but at the same time it lacks the, how do you say it lacks the benefits that Wigglytuff has, like for example a resistance to ghost types, right, which Wigglytuff has because of the part normal type. So of course we use the Crustle in the lead because fairy types do not like to go up against against fire and poison types, which both are resisted due to the rock typing of the Crustle. Of course fire will still do neutral because of its bug typing, but Smackdown will do a lot more to the fire types than the fire type moves will do to Crustle. And here we see we are able to rock slide the Aromatisse down to take the win. Going on to the second game here, we have Slowbro in the lead, which is one of the more common leads that I have seen today, and Crustle will do very good against it. And here we go against tackle Miltank here. Of course Miltank having access to rollout as well as a fast move, and it's fairly similar, I would say. It just depends on what you want to use Miltank for. Is it more for the energy generation, or whether you want it for a neutral damage from the fast move, because tackle now is basically a water gun clone, so it does 3 damage per tackle and 3 energy per tackle as well. So it depends on what you want to do with it. However, I would recommend using rollout in the Great League because you need to spam those charge moves to get the most benefit out of its bulk. And here we managed to get their Scrafty into our Sylveon, and they just top left. In this instance they could potentially have a win con, but it's fairly hard because we do get to the Moonblast fairly quickly. And here this counter swap into a Lickitung, and we are able to get to a Moonblast before them, which is very advantageous because now we will most probably get a shield from them after this charge move that we are going to throw here, because we can now go for a Side Shock and there'll be a potential farm down window here for us if we do get the Side Shock to hit them. But they decided to shield it and throw their Body Slam here, and here it's all about reciprocating shields if you want to win switch, because Side Shock will need 6 quick attacks to get to it, which is the same amount of same duration as Lickitung needing to get to the Body Slam. And here we just elect to let it go and take switch advantage, and we are going to come into our Aromatisse to charm them down. Unfortunately, they swap into their Medicham here, which is not good for them because now we are able to safely take this move and just charm them down because we are able to tank a Psychic, and we are going to safely shield here for good measure because there could possibly be a Charizard at the back, but it could also be a potential Alomomola at the back as well, and both will be very advantageous with the energy that Aromatisse has compared to a Crustle, and they do quit the game. And besides Slowbro, there's also a lot of the Ariados leads that we found today, surprisingly, which is not surprising considering the amount of Medicham, Shadow Vileplume, and Charmers that are in the meta now. Of course, Ariados, one of its lacking points I would say is that it's also weak to Psychic from Medicham, therefore it does have to worry quite a bit if the Medicham has an energy advantage and able to get to a Psychic before they debuff it with Lunge. And here even a Thunderbolt from Aromatisse will scare them off because Ariados is quite squishy. All bug types I believe are squishy in nature except for maybe Wormadam Trash, but that one is not that common here because of its lack of I would say lack of coverage for the fire types. And here we do get our Sylveon against their Lickitung. Lickitung of course will be a bit of a pain to go against, but there is always a chance for us to win the game against Lickitung, especially if we have a shield advantage as we have here. We have 2 shields while they have 1, and we can safely throw the Psyshock before they get to the next Body Slam to take that final shield, but they decided to let it go. But here because of our overfarm against the Lickitung, we are still able to get that final shield on the Ariados, and we can safely swap into our Crustle to get to the Rock Slide on CMP. We can safely shield this. Lunge will most probably bring us close to KO, but we can use the shield because we cannot bring the shield to the next game, so why not just use it and take them out. So that is a very good game here. Going to the next game, we have another Slowbro lead. Again, the common theme for today, at least for me, is that Slowbro and Ariados are the leads that people have chosen, which is fine because it makes our lives very easy. Of course, Slowbro, if it uses Water Gun, will be a bit more complicated because then we would have to switch out into a Sylveon, take up a lot of that damage that they have, that Water Gun would do as well, but fortunately we do not meet any with Water Gun here. And they brought in their Lickitung as a safe swap. This is a fairly common sight to see, and most probably they will have a Medicham at the back. It's a fairly common team to have where you have Ariados in the lead and Lickitung as a safe swap with either a Medicham or a Momola at the back to take out the Magcargo, which if you for example have a Charizard at the back, which is also possible, but will make life a lot harder for them in this instance. And here we get to take them out, and they brought in their Scrafty. Of course, Scrafty does not like to see Aromatisse. They swapped into a Slowbro, and we can just shield this charge move because Psychic or Water Pulse will do a lot more to Aromatisse as compared to Foul Play and Power Punch, because both of the charge moves from Scrafty are resisted. And here we can just let it go. There's no point of them trying to get to another charge move here. We will take them down because they are double super effective from fairy type moves. And here we have another Slowbro lead. What can I say? A lot of Slowbros trying to be cute about it, hardwalling the Medicham, as well as the potential to take out the Charizard is very tempting. It can also do good against the Ariados because of the confusion, but as you can see here, X-Scissor is a fairly weak move, so one X-Scissor will not take it out, and this trainer knows it. They did not shield that and manages to bring our Sylveon very low here, and we are going to go up against a Slowking, and here is where I made a mistake, right? After they take down our Sylveon, what I should have done here is go into our Crustle, because when I look back at it now, they had two Pokemons which share the same typing, which is Water and Psychic, and both run Psychic fast moves, which means that they are fairly weak to Dark types, and of course what beats Dark types? Medicham. And this is what made us throw the game in a way, because if we had come in with the Crustle, then we could have easily aligned our Aromatisse with the Medicham to take them out with this one shield. Unfortunately, we are not able to do so, and here we will lose the game because the Slowking did have a ton of energy, and we don't have the opportunity to throw our charge moves against them. If we had maybe a 35 energy charge move, maybe it would have been possible to double up, but unfortunately Aromatisse only has 55 energy charge moves as their cheapest option. And yeah, good game to that player. That was a fairly bad mistake on my end, and here we are going to take on another Slowbro, which is again another routine. We take the chip damage on the Slowbro and then immediately swap into Sylveon, try to bait out the Ariados if possible, but again it's another Lickitung. This team is basically the most irritating team I have faced with my team, because Lickitung just takes up so much effort to take down, because all of the Pokemon are neutral from the leaks, and of course it being neutral from the leaks means that there's nothing much that you can do other than to shield it in order to take out this tanky Pokemon, right? You need a lot of time to take it out, and here we managed to get one more quick attack in and get to the and have a Psyshock banked, and we swap into our Aromatisse to take it down, and here they have a Medicham as their last Pokemon here. Of course they can throw a Psychic, but we will still survive it, no problem at all, and here we can just charm them down and leave them with just two shields on the field, regretting their options of why they did not use them at all. So if you like this team and if you feel that it has some success for you, please do leave a like down below and also leave a comment. It extremely helps us out with the algorithm and also gives me motivation to do more videos, right? Because it has been quite a busy start to the year with work, and I simply didn't have that much time to do it because I'm quite tired after work, of course, right, with the commute and all. And here we have the Ariados boosted, and we are going to let it go because there is no point of us trying to fight them to take their second shield, because they will just shield it up and have a ton of energy here against us. They will get to the first launch, though they will do tons of damage now because the attack is boosted, but here they will get to a second launch, which means that we have to let it go. Now we are going to put all our faith in Aromatisse here, and they have an Electrode. We are going to try to take them out with this one shield, and if they throw a Hyper Beam here, it would be very advantageous for us, but they did not. They threw a discharge, and now I'm thinking, does one discharge take us out? I have not taken a discharge to Aromatisse yet, so I'm not sure, but we do survive, and we are in a very good position where we can tank at least one dragon tail, two dragon tails at that, and then throw the moon blast to take their final shield. And of course our crystal has that smackdown loaded because we were debuffed earlier on and able to get a lot more farm on Ariados, and here we are able to take them out. And going on to the last game of this video, we have Crustle against a Hisuian Electrode. I would say this is the better Electrode compared to the Kanto Electrode, but as you can see here, the opponent does a fairly rookie mistake of immediately throwing the wild charge. Of course, in this scenario, ideally you would want to build up to a double wall charge before throwing it, because it would just mean that you have to how do you say it, debuff yourself if you go straight wall charge, and most of the time you will not be able to get to another charge move, because as in the case of Crustle here, we do have Axizor, which is a fairly cheap move to take them out. And here we have a Sylveon against the Mech Cargo. If this was Charm, it would be very hard for us to even get one shield from them, and here we are going to let this one go and trust to on Crustle to take them out with Smackdown. Smackdown does a lot more damage than Rock Throw, and it also has more bulk, I would say, compared to Mech Cargo, and we are able to take them out. We throw immediately the Axizor to do some chip damage before going into the Aromatisse to take out this Medicham, and there is nothing else this opponent can do, and they just top left here. And thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.